Hello, hello. I am just popping on to do a bit of coloring. I did not advertise this, so I don't know who or how many people will be joining, but oh, hi friend. Hi, Freedom Deep. Thanks for thanks for popping in. This is a totally unannounced live stream. And I also know that it happens to be the same time as Craft Roulette. So I imagine most people are going to be there. Hi, Kim. Welcome, friend. Oh, happy Friday to you too. Oh, hey, Jay. I'm surprised. I thought you would be watching Craft Roulette right now. I intentionally chose this hour because I meant to do this earlier this week, just didn't get a chance to. And so it's coming close to the Coloring with Meg class, and I meant to go earlier, live stream earlier and do a bit of coloring because I kind of want to do a before and after of my coloring just to benchmark where my coloring is at right now and where it will be after Sunday's class, where Meg will teach us how to color. And for folks who might be interested in that class, it is still open for enrollment. I'll tell you more about that. But this is actually, I was looking for things to color, and this is from the Anya Big Kit. This is the Anya and Ian Big Kit, which I don't think there are too many big kits where there's the mix of Anya and Ian. So I think these are super adorable. I have yet to color any of them, so I thought it would be a good occasion to kind of break it out and have some fun coloring. It's not exactly the same thing as what we'll be coloring in class with Meg. So, it's not going to really be an apples to apples comparison. I fleetingly thought about perhaps coloring the exact same image as what we'll be doing in the class, but I thought better of it because I don't want to have like practiced it once already. I want to do it for the first time live in class. So that's kind of why I sort of am saving that. So I normally, when I color the skin tone first. And so I like your kiddos. Yes, they are from the Greening Farm. It's I don't know how often the Greening Farm puts it out, but every once in a while they'll do what they call big kits. And it comes in these huge, like this is bigger than 8.5 by 11, and normally you get like nine Anyas. Generally it's the Anyas. And I'm not gonna sell you my Ians. You're gonna have to get your own Ians. Although this guy, no wait, that guy I think has the same hair as your dude. Where's your? I should keep, for as often as I refer to your ATC with your dude on it, I should really have it at hand. Do I have it? No. Okay. So, excuse me. So I'm going to start off with, and by the way, I'm no expert, which is why I think it's going to be fun to learn from Meg on Sunday. But I will describe how I color, even if I'm not super pro at it. I'm just trying to figure out what markers I generally use for my skin tone. I think I use this. I have very few Copics, and but I generally do use it for skin tone because I kind of feel like they blend a little bit more easily for me than Ohuhu's. On Friday though, or on Sunday, when I color with Meg, I'll be coloring with my Ohuhu markers. So let's color that guy up. And what I do with skin is I color skin completely differently to how I color pretty much anything else. So I color light to dark, and I go over the same area multiple times. And the way that I actually color with alcohol markers is I uncap all three and I just hold them all in my hand so that I don't have to like cap, recap as I'm switching colors, because I go back and forth so often. And so I generally like to just keep them uncapped, but I'll hold them all in my left hand here. So I'm gonna start off with this is gonna be E00. My midtone is E21, and the last my dark is E11. So I'll start off with E00, and I've tried a lot of different things. What I found is that if it's a wider image, for me, it helps to actually color the whole area with the lightest color first. And if it's not perfect, it's not the end of the world. The whole idea is just to get a little bit of ink down so that you have a bit of a base to start from. And that way, as you layer more color on top, it will blend a little bit more smoothly. So I've just got the whole face in my lightest. Yeah, Melissa, I would, that's why I hold it. to just make sure that it's just still resting in there, and then it doesn't but I'll remember, and because I uncap them all, I'll remember to cap them all at the same time when I'm done. So that was E00. Then my midtone is E21. And so I pretty much do all of my coloring the same way. I do the shadows from the left and right edge, like basically from the outside towards the center. So I don't really care about the whatever light source, direction of light, where it's all coming from. It's all the same. I always color it the same way. So I'm just gonna start at the edges, and I'll try to rotate seldomly. But normally, if I were coloring without a camera, I would be rotating so that my flicks are a natural direction for me to flick in. So, because oftentimes, like, if it's very natural for you to kind of flick towards yourself, that's gonna feel more comfortable than trying to keep your paper still and flicking in a direction that's uncomfortable. So I would just rotate your paper so that you're always flicking in a direction that is comfortable. So I've got a little bit of my midtone color pretty much where I think my shadows are coming from, which if you look at anything I color, they're always coming from the same direction. I'm going to put a little bit of shadow under here, the mouth, a little bit under the, like in the crease of the eyes as well. And then this is the only time I do this. Then I'm going to go back with my lightest color, and kind of where that dropped off, where the edge is, I'm going to blend that outside edge into the center. It helps to kind of, I feel, soften the where you left off on that midtone, and it starts to bring that color towards the center a little bit more. So just gonna, and I'm not putting a lot of pressure down on the on my brush marker. It's a very light pressure. So we've got one full coat of the lightest color, which is E00. Just at the edges, I put E21, and now my darkest color is E11. And going right back in from those outside edges, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to kind of go towards the center from the outside edges and get some shadows. Now, I'm not looking to extend this too far into the center of the face. Really just aiming to get a little bit of shadow here. And I think that looks good. If you feel like it needs to be a little bit darker, you can go in again with another pass. And I think the thing for me that I'm trying to be a little bit more brave about is going darker than I feel comfortable doing. Because a lot of times the darkest color, I'm just a little bit too reserved with it. And when things start to, I mean, it's the shadows that make things look a little bit more dimensional. And so I think that's just a comfort thing. You just kind of have to break free a little bit and just do it more. So then I'm going to go back to the middle color, and similar to what I did last time where I kind of feathered those edges out, I'm going to do the same thing. So going from where more or less I left off with the dark color, I'm going to flick and bring that color towards the center, overlapping a little bit. So, and it helps to, again, kind of soften where those that dark color left off. Brings it in towards the center and helps to just soften everything a little bit. So I have to say my coloring, it's not all that sophisticated. And then the last thing I'll do is with my lightest, I'm just going to go back in and then give everything another once over, just because the lightest generally has the most blending solution. And that's what's going to help blend, smooth everything out. So anywhere that seems like maybe it's a little bit too, like this is skin, so we're not looking for, brush marks like fur, for example. So anywhere where it feels like it's too streaky, or where you feel like the color isn't well blended and isn't transitioning well, then you can kind of use your lightest color almost like a blending brush to smooth that out. So that is the face. And we'll do the ears. The ears are pretty simple. Just gonna get the darkest color right in the center, and I'll just use a mid-tone. It's such a small space, I'm not even using the lightest color. And then he's got a little bit of neck and hands, so get that skin tone in. Now, usually the face is where I spend the most time. Everything else, I just kind of, I'm just easy breezy on it. Because for me, when I look at coloring, the face is kind of where I look the most. And so I'm just coloring to make myself happy. So, that wasn't my darkest. This is my darkest. I meant this. So the other skin areas, especially if they're smaller, like the neck and hands here, I kind of just use my standard coloring technique. It's not quite as many layers. Is this live or is this? That's so funny. Hi, Pam, I'm live. Or is it Memorex replay? That's funny. So normally, and I'll do the same thing as I color up the rest of his hair and clothing. So normally when I color, I just go dark to light. So I'll probably just use the dark and the mid for these areas because it's such a small space. It's hard to fit a 3-color blend in such a small space. So just a little bit of the darkest and so that's how I do skin. Pretty not all that sophisticated, but that's how that turned out. Oh, that's weird. How come? Oh, is my description? Oh, my description says live replay. Oh, well, let me fix that. Can I fix that? I don't think I can fix that. My bad. That's like a copy paste error. Sorry. All right. So, thanks for finding me though, despite the the bad naming for this live stream. Okay, so next hair. And let me bring out, let's see. What color hair should we do? Shall we make him a blonde? Let's do blonde. Okay, so I'll bring out, so here I'll switch over to my Ohuhus where I just have more colors in the Ohuhus. So I have, this is Y1. And I do have the Ohuhus that are a brush tip. I prefer the brush fine tip combination, which I think is Honolulu B. This is YR33. They started with brush and chisel tip, which is this one. So I have some that are that combination, but I really prefer the fine tip. I never use a chisel tip for anything. Pam, I'm not a good colorist. I cannot take requests because I know what I can color. But I can do brown. Let's see. I could do brown. What's my normal brown combination? Okay, this is just for you, Pam. I'm gonna recap them. Recapping. Don't ask for anything crazy like red hair. I cannot do red hair. Brown. Okay, I think this is my combo for brown. Here we go. Okay, switching to brown just for Pam. Okay, I have my darkest is BR1, BR2, and then BR3 is the lightest. So those are the three. Let's see. Let's get. I always have to look at the little logo to know which end. Let's see. So BR3. Okay. Whoops. Streamlabs is putting in links from. Let me change that over, folks. I've got Streamlabs putting in links that don't make sense. Okay. So I've got that turned off. Well, we are in each other's tribe for a reason. Okay. Brown hair. So brown hair, I'm gonna start with the darkest, and he's kind of got messy hair, but I'm gonna go with the sort of curved streaks that they've already sort of drawn in. So I think that helps a lot. So underneath these tufts is where I'm gonna put some shadow. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm gonna be putting so many little streaks and highlights and whatnot. So the only thing I try to do is when I flick, I try to. This was a good flick right there. That's a good flick. It comes to a nice little point there. That flick, not so great, but it just takes practice and so sometimes what you want to do is, normally when something curves, it's where it's the peak of the curve that hits the most, that gets the most light. So that's why sometimes I'm actually putting some dark at the edge of this tip and then some dark at the beginning of that clump of hair, and meaning like that middle section is going to have the lightest coloring. So that's how I color stuff that's got some curvature to it, is you kind of just take the top part of the curve as the spot where that's going to have the lightest colors. And then I try to have the darkest kind of emanate from the top of the head and then just kind of curve downwards. And I'm just going to add some random streaks here and there. And got this one going up. And I think that's probably fine. Maybe a little bit here too. Oh, is that face? That might be part of his head. Can't tell. Huh. I wonder if this is this skin or is this a clump of hair? I think that might be skin. I'm gonna just put a little bit of skin there. See how that looks. Yeah, I think that's skin. If it was hair, I could always go in darker with the brown, but I think it's actually skin. All right, so now I'm gonna do the second lightest color, and I'll just kind of go right over that and extend it beyond. So even though those strokes might have looked really streaky and right now it's looking like a mess, don't worry, that's not gonna be the end of it. There's gonna be so many more colors layered in, and it's kind of all about doing it in stages and having fun. I'm not aiming for photorealistic or anything. So there's that. So hopefully everybody's Friday is going well. I know some folks have been getting really crazy weather. Hi, Maria. Welcome, my friend. So hopefully no one here is affected by any of the crazy weather that's been going on. I know Terry lost power for a couple days. She's in Texas. All right, so there's that. These are adorable. Yeah, these are the Greening Farm. It's from the Anya and Ian. Pam says, I think I've got everything prepped for MCA tomorrow. Yay! I have not prepped yet. I had my hubby read the list of pieces to make sure I didn't misread the fractions. Oh, that's so sweet of him. Ooh, Maria, do tell. What else did you get in your crafty haul? All right, so now I'm going in with my lightest color, And if you wanted, I mean, you could just flood color the rest, really. Just fill everything else in. I know Cynthia, she's on the Greening Farm DT. I love her hair coloring technique. She leaves some of the white. It's very signature, I would say. Like I can almost always recognize her coloring because she leaves some of these white streaks as the highlight. And so it's a really great look. I love it. So I'm just sort of flicking the basically in the motion of these hair tufts, and I'm not even really caring where I'm putting these flicks. They're just in the motion of the hair tufts, because the thing is, when you go over the darker areas, it blends it out. It pulls that color out sometimes too. So it's just going to help to move some of that color around and help to blend it. And so now what was like very streaky and kind of messy looking, hopefully is starting to look a little bit better. I mean, I'm just telling you what I do. I'm not saying I'm the best at this. but that's at the moment, this is the level that my coloring is at. And I want to aspire to Meg's level of coloring. So that's why I'm really excited to be doing the class with her. And then what I'll do is maybe I'm going to go in a little bit with my midtone just to darken some areas. Because now that I can kind of get a sense of everything, I can sort of go back in and, wherever I feel like, maybe a little bit more shadow would be good here or there, I can kind of go back in and add that just to darken things a little bit. But I'm not using my darkest color of shadow because like I said, I'm still very hesitant to go super dark on anything. So that to me is often the scariest thing. So, but going back in with a midtone, I feel like for me is it's kind of a safer bet, because too dark, and it can be a little bit hard to recover from too dark. So that's kind of why I'm pretty conservative with the darkest color. All right. So I think, and I'm like I said, I love Cynthia's style where she leaves the white. I think it's a very signature look for her. I can't do it to where I'm happy with it. So I pretty much colored the whole thing in. There's no white left on this at all. Yay. Pam wants to know, Maria. Do tell. Okay, so that's hair. Hair is a good one for like that sort of flick of the wrist motion. And so I hope you like the brown hair, Pam. See, I didn't even ask for suggestions or requests, but I heard you. So this will make up for, so Pam, this should make up for that time where I asked for suggestions and then I ignored them. Okay, so I'm gonna give him maybe a blue jacket. I think I'm gonna give him a blue jacket. No, he'll be blue jeans. Let's give him blue jeans. Maybe this color blue. I feel like this is like a grayish blue. combo here. So PB11 for anyone who likes coloring with ADHESIVES, PB11, B254, and MG060. I feel like I'm playing bingo. Okay, so all right. Ooh. Oh. It was an estate sale, and the house was pretty much a crafty house storage. Oh my gosh! 3 drawer bins for 12 by 12 paper packs for $5 each. Dang. A crafty toolbox filled with ribbon and beads. Oh my gosh. Jackpot. That's awesome. Yay, I did. You said what color hair should we do? Maybe you were talking to. Oh, yeah, that's true. Okay, fair enough. I think I was inner monologuing out loud. I also got 2 shelves. Oh my gosh. I know it's sad, you know, when there's an estate sale, because you know, there's very specific circumstances under which those occur. But I'm glad you were able to get such a good deal. Okay, so yeah, what a win. That's fabulous. Oh, Ashley, hey, welcome. Ashley is watching from Instagram. I'm just doing a little bit of coloring. I've got this, he's an Ian from the Anya and Ian, the Greeting Farm big kit. Okay, so jeans. So the rest of the Greeting Farm kids, they're so easy to color because their bodies are small. there's like not that much space here. So I just, like I said, all of my coloring, it's very unsophisticated, just shadows on the outer edges, and so darker colors on the outside, and then lighter colors moving towards the center. But I always try to overlap with the previous color, and just kind of pull the color towards the middle. And I didn't mention it, but I am coloring on Hammermill. Oops. Is this my midtone? I think this is my midtone. Yikes. That's the thing with holding them all together like this. Sometimes I mix up what's mid and what's light. Because here's the thing with ADHESIVES. There's no like, there's no, what's it called, like, system for how they number things. So it's really hard to like find what's going to be a good blend. And then the caps are just all over the place. It's not very true to the color when you lay it down on paper. So it's really hard sometimes. So there are his blue jeans. So now I'm gonna give him a white shirt, a white t-shirt. I think this is a very classic look, white t-shirt. But I'm not just gonna leave it uncolored, because white needs some coloring too. It just needs a bit of gray. Oh, let's do some grays. I'll do a neutral grays. So let's do these. Oh, this is a green gray. GG020 NG03. Let's see what that looks like. Oh my, you've been busy. Came home around 11 and then cleaned everything up until 4 p.m. Nice. It must be so nice to have all of that storage now. So that'll be nice once you start. Now that it's all cleaned up, you can start to like fill it with all your stuff. So just need a little bit of very fine line of gray there, and I'm gonna go over that again with a lighter gray. This is actually a little darker than what I thought it would be, which is fine. I will just use my Zero, which is my blender. If something's a little bit darker than what you anticipate, you can just use your blending brush over the whole thing, and it'll help to kind of bleach out some of that color. In some cases you might be able to kind of remove it all, but it would take a lot of passes. So you can kind of see now. I know it's very hard to tell, but there is a little bit of gray there, so it just gives you a little bit of shadow, and helps to not make it less flat, that area. So even though it's a white shirt, I don't know what color shoes. We'll come back to that. But he needs a jacket. Let's give him a green jacket. Let's give him this color green. Hi, Meg. Uh-oh, the teacher's in the house. Yikes. Meg, I thought I would do a little bit of practice before our Sunday coloring class. Okay, so since Meg's here, let me tell you all a little bit, and I know some of you already know and you're already enrolled, but Meg is teaching us on Sunday how to color this daffodil. And if you are interested, oh darn, I was not prepared. I should have been more prepared. Let me grab the link to it. But Meg's going to show us how to color up this fabulous image, which she illustrated herself. And so when you sign up for this class, which is totally free to do, you can download there's actually going to be or is available at the moment for registered attendees. There's 4 versions that you can download. And one version is what I'm showing here, which is just the single flower. And it has, it's a very large, I mean, this is printed on 8.5 by 11. And so pretty large. And so there's, oh my. Okay, I think my keyboard went a little nuts. There's the class if you're interested. Oh my gosh, it like pasted in a million times. I think one of my keys got stuck. Okay, there it is on YouTube, and for folks who happen to be watching on Instagram, I've pasted it there as well. So this is one version, and then we also have a version that has swatches. Now, one of the things I'll send an email out to registered attendees, but Meg has updated the color combinations for the hoo-hoo markers. So that has been updated, and so the file, if you've already printed it out, so sorry, but you'll have to print it out again if you want the updated colors. So we have one version that's a hoo-hoo swatch colors, and so we have the swatch bar here so that if you want, you can actually practice that color combination. And we have the Copic coloring swatch as well, and then that way you can get a little bit of practice in and see how the colors look. And if you don't like the colors that we're recommending, you can always swap out whatever you have, whatever you like, because you may not have these exact colors, and that's totally fine. So that's one of the reasons why we do this little swatch bar, so that you can kind of see how it looks the way that Meg has colored it. Meg will be coloring with her Copics, and I'm going to be following along in the class along with all of you who are registered. And I'm going to be learning just as everybody else is learning too. But I'll be using my Ohuhu markers. So the fourth and last version that you get is the no line coloring version. So you have that too. So I just printed on one sheet of paper all four so that you can kind of see all four. It's the exact same image, and it's digital, so you can scale it to whatever you want to scale it to and use it on your projects later if you'd like. So so you have the flexibility to do that. If you're coloring along with this, I would definitely recommend, doing if you are using Ohuhus or Copics to use those. If you have other brand markers like Spectrum Noir or Nuvo or Altenew, there's so many different brands, Olos, use what you have. Definitely use what you have. And I might actually in future versions of or in future classes, I'm just thinking, it just came to me to right now, maybe I'll do a version that's like this, but it'll just be an empty swatch bar, so that if you use something other than Ohuhus or Copics, it'll just be a space so that you can write down what you like to swatch. So here's what it looks like kind of on the full 8.5 by 11. So I think for future classes, Meg, remind me if I don't remember for next class, but maybe I'll just do an empty or blank swatch area. So you have all the same different groupings of colors as what we would have in Ohuhus and Copics, but then you can kind of fill it in with whatever brand marker you like to color with. So I think that's what we'll do for future classes. Is there somewhere to see what the colors look like, or at least the colors similar? Oh, the best place to look is actually on the coloring course, because the promotional graphic that we have used for advertising the class, that's hand colored by Meg using Copics. So that's probably the best spot to look for that. If you're looking to kind of find similar colors in your crafty stash. Melissa says each swatch bar allows for half of color and a 1/4 inch overlap. Oh yeah. I'm not super. I didn't measure it, but you're probably right. And it kind of depends on how many colors. For some of these, Meg's listed 4 colors, and I think in some cases there might be 3. So it kind of depends. I crossed out the colors I didn't have. Yep. Oh, good. That's so smart. That's so smart. That's a good idea. Yellows, orange, greens. Yeah. Oh, pencils too. Okay, yeah. Well, I think a lot of the what Meg will teach in the class is techniques. And here's the funny thing, folks. This will be so funny. So you've described how I approach coloring. It'll be so funny to if Meg says that, like, I've been doing it backwards this whole time. That's what I'm really curious about. But coloring it's a journey, it's a path. Don't compare yourself to anyone else. Just kind of enjoy where you're at with it and take from the class what you would like, and what works for you, because everybody's sort of aesthetic for what how they like to color, what looks good to their eyes. That's going to be different for everybody. So um, don't sweat it too much. Same with colors. Some colors, I mean, maybe you don't want yellow daffodils. Maybe you want a different color of daffodils. But that's why I like getting the chance to kind of be taught how different people approach coloring and learning different techniques and just getting to try different things out. So like I said, my coloring not super sophisticated, but I'm happy with it. And at the end of the day, uh, you're the only person who needs to be happy with your coloring. So just do what looks good to you, what makes you happy. Enjoy the process, and take from the class whatever suits, whatever you feel works for you. So I color everything I color everything the same way pretty much, except for maybe hair. Like everything is just darkest on the left to right, later coming inwards. So that was my dark, and then my mid, and then now I'll do my light color, and I'll just go over pretty much everything. With my light color, what I often do is so it really depends on your paper. So hammer mill I really love because it's super smooth, it's bright white, so the color is very true. Some papers are a little bit off white, and so the color might look a little bit different. And what you'll notice is sometimes as you're coloring, you can see the color moving, as you color over it. So in this case, I actually want to push the dark color as far away from the center as possible. And because the lightest color has the most blending solution, which means it's going to kind of move and blend out or bleach out some of the other colors most, I'm actually going to color this from where it's the lightest and then push the darker colors out towards the edge. And I'm going to do the same down here too. Just going to, and sometimes if things are looking like the outer darker shadow areas are too dark, then maybe I try to pull the shadows in towards the center to smooth it out. But here I lost some of the shadows by going over it so much with a lighter color. So I'm just trying to concentrate it and push it back towards those outer edges. And then once I have this completely colored, like I said, I'll just kind of look at it again, and sort of similar to the hair where it went back in, with that mid-tone, I'm gonna go back in, and I'm going to darken some of the shadows a little bit more. So just gonna bring a little bit more shadow in because I lost a little bit of the shadow. So that's the nice thing about alcohol markers. They are a transparent medium, so when you color one color over another, it doesn't block out that previous color. It actually just layers on top of it, and then you can kind of smooth it out with these lighter markers. So I'm gonna try like this last pass with my lightest color. I'm not gonna go over the whole thing as much because I don't want to lose all of that shadow again. So, but I want to kind of get rid of some of the some of the brush marks and make it a nice smooth transition. So I'm just gonna blend right until it kind of meets up. And so that's his little jacket. I think it's like a, I kind of think it's like a rain slicker. It might not be, but okay, so that's his little hoodie. And now I need to give him some shoes. What color shoes should this kiddo be wearing? Maybe I'll give him some orange shoes. Or is that just not cool looking? Let's see. Orange, orange, orange. Do I have orange? Well, I have orange, but is it maybe these two? Let's see. See how this looks. I'm just gonna swatch this. His shoes are so small. I'm not gonna really get I probably won't even really get a 2-color blend here. So just a little bit. Alrighty, so that pretty much wraps up my little Ian here. And I think this might be where I'll kind of end things for this stream. As a former preschool assistant, I pretty much only feel comfortable with crayons. Well, you know, they make pretty sophisticated crayons these days. So, oh, oops. Meg said I was gonna say red, but orange works too. Thank you, Pam, for hanging with me for this just quick little live stream, not a replay, but it is live. So okay, so I'll let everybody go. Hopefully you can still catch Craft Roulette. And just for folks, as a little bit of a reminder, this is the Daffodil that is the free coloring course offered by Meg and myself. The unique thing about this coloring class is that it's live. So you can color along, and we have a private Facebook group where you can even share your works in progress and get real-time live feedback from Meg during the live workshop, which I think is fabulous. It's like attending, you know, a real class, and like you would maybe take at a community center or college. So I think that's going to be really, really fun for folks who are already enrolled. If you happen to be coloring with Ohuhu markers, this has been updated. I have to print out the new one myself. So just go back to the courses page, go to the lesson that is download and print, and either print off the new one or just scratch this out and put the new colors, the updated colors in. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Lovely chatting with you all. Thank you to the folks who found this impromptu live stream. Maria, Pam, Maria, great get on the sale that you came on, and Melissa, thanks for joining. Meg, thank you so much for joining as well, and I can't wait to take my coloring to the next level. So I'm looking forward to that. All right, everybody, bye. See you tomorrow if you're joining for Mystery Craft Along.